What's going on, Flyers fans, and welcome back to Clear the Ice, a Flyers postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Your boy Matty B on the call tonight. Flyers, 5-3 winners up there on the Isle against the Islanders. A big night, a shorthanded goal. Man, where is that play gone? I mean, I spent a lot of time on these shows talking about the indecision with the pucks and the poor transition game, but boy, what happened to the shorthanded goals that we lived on last season? I guess you can kind of relate this lack of shorthanded goals to the lack of the transition game. 16 shorthanded goals last season, only 3 now this year as the Flyers get their third of the season. But, hey, it came at a great time because the Flyers needed it. They got the win. And they start a funky 8-game stretch where the next 7 teams out of their next 8 games, they will play the next 7 of them will be against teams from either New York or New Jersey, as we're finally getting into the New York, New Jersey portion of our schedule, the first meeting of the season tonight between the Flyers and the Islanders. And for the 2 New York-based teams, the Islanders and the Rangers, boy, has things kind of went sideways for both those franchises this year, both of them at the bottom of the Metropolitan Division. The Flyers are actually above them. Devils have rebounded nicely this year. They're up there, up towards the top of the division. But a definite turn of fates to the worst for the Islanders, who about 2 or 3 years ago were one of the hot young teams in the National Hockey League, has not worked out, or it didn't have much staying power, as the Islanders have had a struggle this year. The Flyers tonight taking care of them out there in the Isle, 5-3. Getting back to the elusive 500 mark, too. 20th win tonight now for the Flyers, 20-20-6, 46 points through 46 games. Yeah, take that for what it is. But, hey, I'll take the win. I'll definitely take the win. And it was a very positive win. Goals from a lot of different characters tonight. Points from a lot of different suspects, not the usual suspects. And that's good. Joel Farabee back in the lineup tonight, chips in with an assist. Sean Couturier, a multiple point night. Travis Konecny had some defensive struggles, but then he also had a 3-point night as well. And Sam Ersson, the most reliable option we have in between the pipes, comes up big with the win, 5-3. And the Flyers get back to 500. And as I mentioned, over the next 8 games, they will now play 7 of them against teams either from New York or New Jersey, mixing in the Detroit Red Wings in that one other game. So Flyers 5-3 winners tonight in the Island. Let's head over and take care of some administrative notes on this game. Game info, the Flyers went with a healthy scratch of Eric Johnson, Oli Lexell, and Alexei Kovasov. Joel Farabee getting back into the lineup tonight. I didn't know Oli Lexell was still up. I didn't think he was. For the Islanders, Hudson Fasching, Alexander Romanov were their healthy scratches out there on the Isle for the Islanders. In between the pipes for the New York Islanders tonight, Ila Sazorkin, 23 shots faced, 19 saves, and a putrid 0.826% save percentage. For the Flyers, Sam Ersson back in the net for the Flyers tonight. Faced 29 shots, saved 26 of them, and finishes with a 0.897 is not nothing to shake a stick at either. But hey, he gets the win. It's the big thing for the Flyers tonight. As again, they get back to 500 now, 20-20-6 on the season. They get a shorthanded goal. And when they scored that shorthanded goal, I had forgotten about the shorthanded goals. I totally had forgotten about the Flyers and their ability last year to feast upon shorthanded goals, 16 of them, as I mentioned. Now only 3 on the season so far this year. And yes, you could probably attribute some of that, or most of that, to the lack of the transition game for the Flyers, the lack of the outlet pass situation, the indecision with the puck that they've kind of had all season long. But tonight, all's well that ends well as they get that shorthanded goal en route to the win, 5-3 over the Islanders. Let's not waste any time, and let's get into this bad boy, or let's also face, gotten way ahead of myself. Flyers were outshot tonight, 29-24 by the Islanders. 0 for 4 on the power play tonight for the Flyers. You can chalk up the shorthanded goal to a special team win, but still 0 for 4 on the power play. And they were 2 for 4 killing penalties. To include that late goal there at the end of the game as time was running out to get the Islanders to a 4-3, but then the Flyers were able to ice it with the empty netter. But 2 for 4 on the kill tonight, not the power play, but the kill. Flyers are now down to 80% on the kill this year. That's 16 points lower, or 16 percentage points lower than it was this point last season. And we can discuss, and we probably will discuss, and I probably will bring it up a little bit later on in the show, where I think the penalty kill situation or the problems within that penalty kill have been. But the Flyers tonight did block 23 shots. They gave the puck away, oh, God help me, 14 times. That's not going to help your penalty kill or any aspect of your offense or team defense or any of it. And they only took the puck away 4 times for the Islanders tonight. So there you go. There's your administrative notes for this game as we get started. Let's start having some fun with peeling back some of these goals, and that's what I like to do here. The Islanders would get on the board first at about halfway mark of the first period. Bo Horvat, his 14th from Nelson, his also his 14th. It was on the power play. So the Flyers were down short, first shorthanded attempt on the night, first power play attempt of the night, and the Islanders hit Pater with the goal to make it 1-0. Let's bring it up. Let's break it down. Let me bring it up here. It's a matter of turnovers, matter of potential missed penalty, matter of bad giveaways and bad puck management. Oh, you know the deal. You know the deal. The Flyers this year when it comes to some of these goals, they don't make them look pretty. But here you go. So plays now. We'll pick up the play behind the Flyers net over there in the corner. They're gonna cycle it up. Nice little pass. Urson does the initial save here, or the initial block of the puck, not a save, excuse me. Then here we go, little shenanigans out in front. Let's pop it back. That's Konechny with the puck here. He gets I don't know if you want to characterize that as a hook, a slash, a slack. I don't know what that is. It wasn't called. And you know what? Typically speaking, at the NHL level, and there you see it again, it was not a hook because he didn't really hook him. He kind of like slashed him. He slashed him more than he hooked him. But at this level of play, and actually at the junior, or not the junior, but the youth hockey level, I wouldn't have called that a hook. No, you got to actually get him and hook him. That was not really a hook. It was kind of a drag across, or again, more of a slash than anything else. And it wasn't a slash. So no penalty called here, but it does create an issue as Konechny kind of gets off his game, off his balance. He kind of throws his arm up like, what? Hey, whoa. Where's the call here? He's not going to get it as the puck is turned over, or it's given away, actually. And then they just play some tic-tac goal. You're never going to sell me on the fact that this angle right here, that Horvat scores, is an NHL scoring angle. This is a terrible angle. It's out there over on that dead ice area. I mean, it's a little bit in front of the dot, but still, you really should, as a goaltender, be able to make that save. He does elevate it. He does the right thing when you're going to try to score from that angle. You're going to have to go up high a little bit. And he has Urson kind of playing. Again, it was a tic-tac goal situation. Let's run it back here. Nice pass. Nice puck work by the Islanders as Urson was biting all the way, and Horvat bangs it in to make it 1-0. But still, a savable shot, man. You got to have that. I think you got to have that save. I really do. I really, really do. The angle and all that, I think you have to have the save. But the Islanders get the goal, go up 1-0 over the Flyers, and that would be your scoring for the first period. Flyers in that period would be, and Flyers and Islanders would tie 8 shots apiece for the first period as we head into the second. And then this is when the Flyers would erupt. This is what's been really, really good to see over the past, I say, 4 games now, I think. The second period has not been the house of horrors that it's been over the course of the last third of the season. The Flyers have really, I don't know if they paid an effort to it, or if they're coaching it better, or they're coaching it different, they're approaching it different, whatever. But their effort as a team in the second period over the last 3 to 4 games has been vastly improved than as it was earlier in the season. Tonight, Flyers get 3 goals in the second period and build up a lead against the Islanders, give up none. But let's slow it down, as the Flyers would get this thing tied at the 5:15 mark. Sean Couturier his 8th goal, and I say this tongue in cheek, but I actually say it because I really mean it. Somebody play me the tape of the other 7 goals that he scored. I'm having a hard time registering 8 goals for Sean Couturier on the year, but nevertheless, gets his 8th of the year from Farabee back in the lineup tonight. And Michkov picks up another point tonight, his 19th assist at the, as I mentioned, the 5:15 mark. The Flyers would tie things up. Let's bring up this bad boy. This was a very fun goal because this had all the things that the Flyers have been struggling so badly on this year. It had transition play. It had quick decisions with the puck. And actually, a lot of the Flyers' goals tonight were very good decision-making goals. And we'll, as we break these bad boys down, you're going to see it. It was very refreshing to see the Flyers not struggle with puck decisions tonight as they were able to capitalize. So let's pick up the play into the neutral zone. The Islanders give away the puck. Now, this is a turnover because this is a forced error. Flyers are going to scramble to get back on sides, and they do. There's no question in my mind. Farabee's going to get the puck over here from, I think it's Hathaway there with the puck. Was that Michkov? Anyway, Farabee's got the puck. He's going to come in. He's looking for a pass all the way. You got some Flyers going towards the net. That's what you're supposed to do. Puck goes in on the net, gets ricocheted in front. There's Couturier to pick it up and bang it in. Not the prettiest goal, but again, you gotta look for the inner beauty of a goal. There's a lot of things good about this play. First things first is right here, the turnover. The second pretty thing for me is that everybody got onside. Look at that. Look at that Farabee making sure he's back onside. Everybody's onside. Michkov's then going to come into the zone. Now, the Flyers are not really spaced well here. That's just the way the play developed, but they open it up as best they could. Farabee gets the puck. He's now waiting for support in front of that net. He gets it, and Couturier gets behind the defense. Farabee's still looking. Nothing. He's going to go there. Maybe that might have been a little too long to wait, but hey, it worked out as play kind of helped out, and Couturier bangs it in for the goal, his 8th, and the Flyers tie things up at 1-1 at that point. Then the Flyers would pull ahead about 4 minutes or 4.5 minutes later. Garnet Hathaway, his 6th. This was the shorty from Travis Konecny, his 31st, and Travis Sanheim, his 18th, to give the Flyers the 2-1 lead. And, you know, we said, I've already spoken about it. You know, the shorthanded goal was a thing of, like, it was part of the Flyer offense last year. I mean, let's face it. You don't score 16 shorthanded goals in one season without making a concentrated effort to try to score them. And the Flyers lived heftily off of that shorthanded goal. Has not been the case this year, as tonight that's only their 3rd one of the year. But let's play it here. It's going to be in the Flyers zone here. Nice, really. Listen, I got to give Urson. Let's pop that back because this is a really good screen. This is a terrible defensive position by Travis friggin' Sanheim. Not only is he sandwiched in between himself and he's got him on one end of it, or one piece of bread, and you got Urson the other piece of bread. He's got a Islander sandwiched in between them. He's got another Islander bearing down on top of him. So now you got a double screen on Urson on top of a free guy because this defender is out of position as well. This is a terrible defensive posture by Travis Sanheim, who's a terrible defensive player, if you ask me. But let's roll it from here. The puck is going to get saved, but then there's the rebound. Urson's really got to figure that out. But Sanheim's going to pick up that rebound, and the Flyers are going to begin the transitional play out of the zone. It is going to be Travis Konecny with the puck, and it's all TK from here as he somehow the Flyers found themselves in an odd man situation here. Islanders were not quick enough to get back. Flyers have a 2-on-1. It's a pseudo 2-on-1 because it's not a natural 2-on-1. There's a defender coming up. But there you go. The quick decision to pass and then the one-timer and the goal. That is hockey goodness right there. That's Travis Konecny taking for what the defense gave him and getting rid of the puck to just try to create a offensive opportunity. Not to keep the puck or not to have a split second of, well, should I just try to bring it in? No, Konecny was very decisive of what he did here. You might think, oh, Matty B, you're off your nut. But listen, this has been an issue all season. The Flyers just trying to do too much with too little. This was not one of those cases where they did the right thing, and the Flyers capitalize, make it 2-1 at this point. shorthanded. And there you have it. Flyers up 2-1 at this point. Then Morgan Frost would make it 3-1 about 4 minutes later at the 13:41 mark. His 11th from Owen Tippett, his 15th, and Konechny's second assist of the night, his 32nd. Let's bring it up here. Flyers' third goal of the night. Need a producer, but all right, here we go. It's all ready to go. I'm getting faster. I'm getting faster at doing this as the season has worn on. But here we go. Flyers with the let's pick up the play in the Flyers zone. Puck's come out free. Giveaway, takeaway, I don't know, turnover. But the Flyers find themselves. Let's stop it here. So you got yourself a 3-on-2. But let's be realistic. This is a 2-on-1 because the spacing between Konechny and I believe that's Frost here is really not. It's almost like two players are occupying one space. So it's still, I can live with 2-on-1. And Konechny again, fast decision-making with the puck. A lot has been greatly improved lately. Frost is going to take the puck in. He's going to drive the center of the net. Listen, again, I'm going to give you guys a hockey 101 lesson. When you're growing up learning how to play the game, and you find yourself being coached, this is what they coach you in this situation. As you enter the zone on an odd man rush, 3-on-2, 2-on-1, the puck handler always goes straight towards the net. You got one of these wingers is supposed to run wide, and the other winger is actually supposed to hang back for a rebound. So let's see if that's what happens here. As Frost will drive the net, and there you go. Konechny's going to hang back. You got, was that Tippett going to the net? You can feeds it back over the Frost, and then you got the goal. See where TK kind of just hung back looking for a rebound? That's textbook 101 youth hockey played right there on how to execute an odd man rush. I just wanted to point that out, but let's take more look about what happened with the Flyers. Morgan Frost, he brought some traffic his way. He took the two defenders that were in that zone in the play, and he got them to bite towards him. Does a smart thing, and he dumps the puck off at Tippett, but Frost continues for the net. You don't just peel off the play because, as we just talked about, in this situation, the puck handler, the initial puck handler, always drives the net. One of the wingers go wide, and the other winger hangs back. And obviously, the winger situation is dictated by the pass. So Frost chose Tippett. He's going to drive wide. Konechny holds back. That's how that's supposed to work. And you got Frost continuing on towards the net. Tippett's continuing to look to do something with it. He finds the pass there, and Frost taps it in for the pretty goal to make it 3-1 Flyers at the waning moments of the second period. So one of those good coaching point goals for you youngsters out there that are looking to play hockey, of how to execute or how to enter the zone and how to penetrate the zone and where you're supposed to go in a situation like that. The Flyers showed you tonight how to do that. 3-1. That will be your score heading into the second intermission. The Flyers outshot the Islanders 11-6 in that period. In the third, Cam friggin' York, baby. One of my favorite Flyer players. One of the young players who I really, really am pulling for to be a superstar, a Mark Howe-ish, Eric Desjardins, Timo Keenan type guy on the blue line for the Flyers for the next 12 to 14 years. Has not had the greatest season. Definitely has taken a lot of steps backwards. His defensive work has been kind of questioned by me. I mean, I've broken some of his stuff down and pinpointed some of his problems. Offensively, he hasn't been the contributor that I think the Flyers would have liked for him to have been up to this point. He's dealt with some injuries. Just not a good season for Cam up to this point, but he gets on the score sheet here at the 5:16 mark of the third period, his fourth of the year. Farabee is 10th, and Couturier with his second point of the night, his 14th assist to make it 4-2 Flyers. Let's bring this thing up. There we go. Now, this is going to happen off the draw, too. And this is another pretty goal because the Flyers have been victimized so much this year on faceoffs. It's nice to see them actually take advantage of a faceoff and take advantage of a faceoff opportunity, which they're going to do on this play. So let's bring it up. So as mentioned, on the draw, the Flyers will win the faceoff. Puck goes back, It's bad. I don't like this camera angle, but they're going to change it here in a second. That's Cam York with the puck, or that's with the Flyers with the puck. Cam York is going to get it, and he doesn't waste much time. He's going to look for the open area. It looked like Suzorkin might have stumbled a little bit moving across the zone. Let's take a look at that again. I didn't know. I just noticed that now. It looks like he decides to. I don't know if he stumbled or he bid on a fake. It looks like he was just not tracking the puck right. As he was a little slow to he went down and maybe lost an edge. And that's all that really matters. He loses an edge for a second or a millisecond, and that's all that you need at this level as Cam York makes him pay for it for the goal. I'll take it. Cam York will certainly take it as well, making it a 4-2 Flyers at this point. The Flyers would hold on to the waning moments of this game, but then a late penalty would put the Islanders back on the power play. Andrus Lee would connect his 20th of the year. I do not have the footage on this goal. This was one of those spray and pray type situations. The Islanders flood in the zone. I think they pulled the goalie at this point. I think they did. I think it was actually a 6-on-4. I'm not sure. I think it was. But Horvat gets the assist along with Palmarian, his 16th, 4-3 on a deflection at the 17-16 mark of the third period. But right after that, at the 18:48 mark with the empty netter, Noah Cates, his 10th, from Travis connecting his 33rd. Game winner, Flyers 5-3, and that's how your final score would go down. The Islanders were all over the Flyers in that third period on shots. They outshot the Flyers 15-5, but the end state is that your Philadelphia Flyers held on to tonight for the 5-3 win, and a generally very entertaining game and a pleasant surprise type of game to see from the Flyers, right? We've been talking about some of the woefulness of this team, some of the stagnation of it. The not very creative on the rushes, the overthinking of situations, the overthinking of with the puck, but all that really was improved tonight. Are the Islanders a great team? No, but do they have some people on that? They do. Brazil, Lee. I mean, there's some good players that play for the Islanders. I would take them, and they're just not having a good year for whatever reason. It's a quality win for the Flyers tonight. And as they start a stretch of 8 games where 7 of them are going to be against the Islanders, Rangers, or Devils, the meat and bones of the Metro and our rivals, it's good to get off on a positive start with the win on the road, by the way, too. So 5-3 Flyers with the win. And Barbara chiming in. Barbara, where you been lately? I haven't seen you around. Barbara says, glad we won this game, but I'm still upset about losing to the Jackets. Yeah, I mean, listen, Barbara, I said it on my show last night, especially after the effort they put up against the Panthers. I made a comment that, if that win against the Panthers, and I think I did the postgame for the Panthers, I was very impressed with that win. And again, that was a second period where the Flyers began to not go away. They could have been run off the ice in that game, but they didn't. They fought back, and they fought back, and they fought back, and they won. Taking that momentum, and I understand it was back-to-back, going back-to-back from the Panthers to the Blue Jackets, but still, man, it's the lousy friggin' Blue Jackets. You should have won that game. And that would have been the perfect way, the springboard into turning this thing around, getting this season, salvaging something from this season. And, I was pretty pissed about that too, Barbara. They get the point, but still, you got to beat the Blue Jackets there. And I know Tortorella was pissed about that. Really thought that the Flyers kind of gave one away against the Blue Jackets. But tonight, good hard work from the guys that they get to win for 5-3. Before we get to the Clear the Ice stat pack and update you on all the stats so far this season for the Flyers, seeing how we are into the second half, and I am a creature of habit when it comes to second halves and looking at standings. I will not look at standings or playoff races for anybody unless we are officially into the second half. Well, we are now. So now it's okay for me to do that, even though playoffs for me are very second. I don't care. I honestly don't care if the Flyers get into the playoffs. You kind of already know where I stand on that. I still think this team is lacking a lot, and draft picks are more where I want, and higher draft positioning is what I want. But we will take a look at the standings here in a second. Barbara back in again. Got to win the games against the Rangers and Islanders coming up, and the Devils. Come on, Barbara, the Devils. I see what you're saying about the Rangers and Islanders are struggling, not having a good season. Continue to kind of push them down below the Flyers in the standings at this point. Keep pushing them down. But the Devils, who have, last year with the injuries they've had and the situation in the goalie problem they had, They were able to kind of stay healthy this year and get a decent goalie in Malmstrom, and he's been helping them out. The Devils have sort of kind of pushed themselves back to where a lot of people thought they should have been last year. So they're kind of back where they need to be. But they're an up-and-coming team. But listen, the Flyers can beat them, and they should beat them. And the next 7 of the next 8 are against either the Islanders, Rangers, or Devils. These are the rival teams. These are the teams that you pay the money to go see every year. And they need to go win all these games. And if the Flyers can find a way through this next 8 games and find a way with positive points, positive wins, and I don't know. I mean, is this something you could build off of? Is this something going into a very light February because of the Four Nations tournament break that the Flyers are going to have and everybody else is going to have in February? I think the Flyers only got like 5 games the entire month. I mean, that might be bad for the Flyers too, especially if they're hot. But stranger things have been known to happen in this league, and God knows I'm not sitting here telling you to get ready for a run to the Stanley Cup. I am not going to say that, but you got to take this rebuild in all of its phases, and games like this. I'm telling you, that game against the Panthers was huge for me. It showed me so much about this team that I was really concerned that they didn't have, and the little engine that could have Flyers that fight to the very bitter end and come up short. Well, they didn't come up short against the Panthers, and they found a way to win that game. So they showed me that they could not only come back, but come back and win against the defending Stanley Cup champs. Doesn't get much more meaningful than that. So I don't know. And yeah, the Blue Jackets game was extremely disappointing. And yes, it was very reminiscent of a rebuilding team kind of stepping back into its old ways. But tonight, shorthanded, better decision-making with the puck, facilitating creative plays on odd man rushes, transitioning, with creativity. Weirder things have known to happen. So I don't know, Barbara. Steal Devil games, maybe I need to be sure to wins against. Yeah, absolutely. No, I hear, obviously the Devils right now are the better of the 3. And you got to kind of tempt your expectations, but you're right. You got to get those wins against the Rangers and the Islanders. Keep them down where they are, and the Flyers should be fine. Let's head over to the standings because, as I said, it is the second half, and I permit myself, I give myself permission to discuss standings at this point of the season. But here we go. This is updated as of right now. Flyers are currently sitting in about the, I don't know, said 13th position in the East. I don't know what that is. It was 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th. They're 12th in the East, but they're only heading it out of tonight. They're only actually 3 points back of the Boston Bruins for the final wild card spot in the conference. Detroit, Montreal, Ottawa are all ahead of them. That's amazing that the names of those teams I just rattled off, the Red Wings, the Canadians, and the Senators are all ahead of the Flyers, chasing down that final wild card spot. The teams behind the Flyers are Pittsburgh, New York, and Buffalo. So the power shift is on in the East, obviously. As what the hell with the Columbus Blue Jackets right now? Currently hold the overall first wild card position in the East. What are they doing up there? But they are currently the first wild card team. Flyers 12th. 3 points behind the Bruins, 4 points behind the Blue Jackets for wild card positioning heading out of tonight. And that's really all I wanted to look at. I'm not going to get into who's first place in the Pacific and who's first place in the North and all that. I don't care about any of that. But yeah, there you go. Flyers 5-3 winners and back to 500 now, 20-20-6. Get the shorthanded goal. I'm beaming over the shorthanded goal. I'm sorry. Only third we've had this year. Obviously the indecision has cost the Flyers on a lot of different areas of their game offensively, mainly offensively. And part of the offensive stable for the Flyers last year was shorthanded goals. They generated a lot of shorthanded opportunities, and they converted a lot of those opportunities. A lot of the Morgan Frost and the alley-oop Hail Mary pass down the middle type plays that the Flyers lived off of last year are just not happening this year for whatever reason. And I think it does correlate to the giveaway problem. The Flyers heading, and we'll go into the numbers here in a second, but the Flyers have been giving the puck away at an epic clip throughout the season. So they haven't been able to generate those opportunities. And when they do get those opportunities, and any kind of opportunity, odd man, any kind of transitional opportunity, it's been laden with indecision, laden with what do I do? A lot of head up and down, not a stick movement, but just thinking about it too much. And it really has cost this team. But tonight, it was good to see that, get them that goal. Let's get to the stat pack here. 20-20-6 now, 46 points through 46 games. Flyers are now 21 for 131 on the power play for the season, 16% even effectively. But think of it this way. A year ago tonight, the Flyers were sitting at 12.5% effective on the power play. So the power play has improved by 4% in one calendar year. Got to take positives. The power play has been better. But I'm not, and that's a really, please don't take that as me saying it's improved. It's not. But when you were 12%, and at times there were moments last year where the Flyers were down in the single digits. I mean, like 9.8% effective on the power play. That's how god awful it was last year. It's remarkably improved from that this year. It's not a good power play. I'm a firm believer that 20% is where you want to be for a good power play. But a 16% power play, I'm telling you, I remember doing these numbers last year, and there were times that I'm typing in 9.8, 8.9, 9.5, 10.1. That was commonplace last year. And this year, it's been remarkably improved from that. They are scoring more. Is it a perfected work of art? No. Is it still leaving a lot to the imagination? Yes. Is there still pieces missing? Yes. But it is improved. On the shorthanded side of things, Flyers have now been short 120 times and have killed 96 of those, down to a putrid 80%. Now, on the flip side of the power play situation, the shorthanded, the penalty kill, has suffered a lot this year. I don't know if it's because of Sean Walker, because it seems like from the minute the Flyers made that trade last year, and I could go back and show you the numbers from last year down the stretch when the Flyers were getting just peppered on short, being short. The shorthanded kill has not been the same since Sean Walker left. It hasn't, and take that for what it is. And I don't know if it's because the Flyers decided to go youth infused, if they're living on the edge too much with the offensive transitioning shorthanded. I don't know, but the penalty kill is not anywhere near the same as it was last year. And maybe the shots are down. The block shots are down a little bit. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know what the problem with the shorthanded, the penalty kill is, but it is definitely not operating on the same level as it was a year ago. 80% now on the nose. Flyers have scored 139 goals on the season, back up to that minimum of 3.0 a game. They've given up 155 goals this year, 3.3 a game. Shots, Flyers have now registered 1,263 shots for 27.4, have given up 1,244 shots for 27 on the nose. Their overtime record is now 5-3. Their shootout record is now 3-3. They've scored 6 shorthanded goals. They got that shorthanded goal tonight. That's their third. The Flyers have taken the puck away 247 times this season for 5.3 a game, have given it away 675 times for 14.6 giveaways a game. And for those of you who have not listened to the show before or watched the show before, that is up dramatically from a year ago. The Flyers averaged last season 6.5 giveaways a game through the entire season, and they are blowing that out of the water right now. It's double that. It's over double what they're giving away in pucks a game. Somebody needs to ask why that is the way it is. No one's asked it. I want to know why. Flyers have now blocked 733 shots for 15.9 a game. And since the 2021-2022 season, the Flyers are 115 for 837 on the power play at 13.7% effective. And I am now 13-9-4 as your host of Clear the Ice, which is about to expand here in February. Can't wait. So there you have it, folks. Flyers 5-3 winners over the New York Islanders, beginning a very interesting stretch of games that will see them play New York-based and New Jersey-based teams now for the next 7 out of the next 8 games. So we're getting into the meat and bones of the Metro schedule, which should be fun. We've definitely had some uplifting wins this year, but also some awful losses. LOL. Got to be more consistent. Hey, Barbara, listen, Barbara, I hope you're not taking this as my endorsement of the Philadelphia Flyers. Of course, I am as skeptical and conflicted as you. I agree. I'm not prepared because I've seen this team at the very bottom, right? We've all have. We've seen this team not be able to get out of its own way. But then they throw in a game against the Panthers the other night. And they throw in this game where they really kind of fought their way through it. And it does kind of make you think it's in there somewhere. Somewhere it's there. It's in this team. Now, again, also, I don't want anybody to take this as I am okay with the status quo of this team. I'm currently not. There moves need to be made. We're lacking a lot still. We're getting contributions. Tonight was, I mentioned, non-usual suspects. So, yes, I know Kate's got the empty netter, but it was good to see some scoring from the non-Bobby Brink, Nova Cates, Tyson Forrester line. It was good to see the scoring kind of get spread around. Travis Konecny, another multiple point night, and all that. So that's good. And then Sam Ersson, who I do believe gives us the best chance to win when he plays. That's just the facts. Unfortunately, Sam Ersson's heading down the road of Nakobe Dean when it comes to being able to stay on the ice. So if you can't be on the ice, can't rely on you. And that's unfortunate, but it's in there somewhere. Somewhere it's in there. And if we can find a way to harness it, and if Danny B decides at this point, that this is the season to go for that harnessment, and instead of selling at the deadline, which I suspect he will do still, and he goes and tries to add to this team, which I hope he does not, maybe we make a run into the playoffs, but that run would be very short-lived, and we both believe it, and everybody knows that. So it's good to see some of the turnaround. It's good to see some more consistency, as you mentioned, but we need to see a lot more. I agree. I'm up for making trades for future picks, but I'm not giving guys away. Barbara, by giving guys away. Barbara, listen, I agree with you, but who's knocking down the door for Morgan Frost? Would you not take a 3rd round draft pick for Morgan Frost? I would. Would you not take a second or a 3rd round pick for Ristolainen? If they suck up all that contract, you're damn right I would, to get rid of that contract. Would you not take a 4th rounder for Joel Farabee? Absolutely. If they take on that contract, I want to get rid of that money too. So I get you what you're saying, Barbara, but we got to be smart about this too. Some of these players that are coveted, and I'm doing the air quotes here because I don't know if any of them are, come with steep price tags. And getting rid of that money, to me, is the biggest point, the biggest thing we can do. The Flyers, if they got rid of this money, could find their way through free agency, could actually be players in free agency. If we could dump Risto's contract, we could dump Farabee's contract. You can dump Lawton in his contract. If you're able to dump that money, and I get it, you'd probably have to take a lower draft pick for a team to suck up some cash on these terrible contracts. I understand that. But I am not going to hold out for a 1st round draft pick for Morgan Frost. That's not happening, because Morgan Frost ain't getting you a 1st round draft pick, no matter what. So I got to factor in the money too. If you want to take on all of Joel Farabee's remaining $5 million AAV over the next 3 years and give me a 4th round draft pick in return, here you go. Take them. I'm down with that. It gives me more money to become a player in free agency, right? Come on, we got to be smart. We got to be smart about it too. I understand what you're saying. I don't want to give away players cheap either, but let's face it. I don't know what we have to give. And I said this on my show a few nights back. I think it was on my Final Word show. Travis Konecny and Mitchkov should be in the mix for trades if the offer's right. Come on. We are not in a position as an organization to dictate who we're going to keep and who we're not going to keep. We need wholesale fixes across the board. So Mitchkov and Konecny should be in play. And if you get an offer and it's got to be sweet, you should listen to it. That's just my one guy's opinion. Risto can leave now. Absolutely. Risto can, but he's not, Barbara, because of that goddamn contract. No one's taking him. Oh, man, it's frustrating. And that's not Danny B's fault. He inherited all that crap from Fletcher. He inherited that whole mess, and it'll eventually work its way out, but it's not going to work its way out this year. The Flyers will enter next summer with about $31 million give or take in cap room before signing draft picks, before signing restricted free agents, before rounding out the phantoms for next year. They're only going to be able to play with about $15 million of salary cap next summer, which is nothing. Maybe they bring in a free agent, one of them, a tier 2 guy, nothing major. So we're stuck in purgatory for another year with these contracts, at least another year. Things get better in the summer of 26, but not in the summer of 25. So hopefully it'll get better. But that's why you got to get creative, man. You want to give me a 5th round draft pick for Ristolainen, and you're going to take all his contract off my hands, the money? Where do I sign? You're going to give me a 3rd rounder or a 4th rounder or a 5th rounder for Farabee and take all that money off my hands? Where do I sign? Come on. You got to look at this across the board. Yeah, draft picks are what you want, but you also need cap. We don't have that. We don't have neither. We don't have neither. So you got to be smarter about that, I think. And you got to look at all the angles from the Flyers. Flyers 5-3 winners tonight. And let's go take a look around. I'm going to show you who's coming up here. Sal will have you on Saturday afternoon against those New Jersey Devils, as that the New Jersey-New York tour rolls on, and we'll got the Devils on Saturday. And then next week, I haven't put the schedule together, but I'll be back at some point next week, I'm sure. Mike Lara will be joining the Clear the Ice crew in February. You're going to see less of me on the post games because I'm going to step back from that, concentrate on a few other things. I will still be around for Clear the Ice, but I'm going to pretty much sign it over to Sal and Mike in February, and then I'll pop up. Of course I cannot. I'm too much of a narcissist. I can't leave it completely, but I'm gonna jump back. So I've already put in a lot of work so far. 13-9-4. It's a lot of games so far this season. Sal's done a lot too, but it's time to give Mike his taste. Let's just put it to you that way. But there's your schedule for the rest of the week as we get into the weekend. And we're looking forward to it. These next batch of games against the New York teams will go a long way to determine what we do with the trade. Barbara, I disagree. I'm telling you, Barbara, I totally disagree with that comment because they could win them all. And I still think the Flyers will be sellers at the deadline. I honestly believe that. I don't think Jones and Briere give one rat's ass less about the playoffs this year. I don't think they care. They're still going to sell, regardless of what position they're in. If they were sellers last year and they were entrenched as the 6th seed this year, or at that point, I don't think nothing's changed. And I think that they're really concerned about some depth issues. They're concerned about the scoring. They're concerned about some areas on this team that they don't think they're going to get fixed. I'm telling you, they're going to sell. They're selling at the deadline. No, I'm not saying they won't pick up a free agent or they won't pick up a player, but it ain't going to be Draisaitl ain't coming. They're not going to pull off a move like that. Dylan Cousins ain't going to show up here. Trevor Zegras ain't going to come into town. No, they're not going to do anything like that, but they're going to sell off. They're going to sell veterans. I firmly believe, regardless of what happens, they could win every single freaking game between now and the trade deadline. They're still going to be sellers at that point. I have a feeling. Please don't forget to check in. No, Barbara, as I said, I'm too much of a narcissist to completely step away, but I got to get Mike his reps. I got to get him, back in the swing. Mike hasn't done a post game for me since game 1 of the NLDS against the Mets. So I got to get Mike back in. He hasn't done a Clear the Ice yet this year. So I'm going to give Mike a lot of work, and there's not many games to go around in February to begin with. So you're going to see me. And then as we move down the stretch, of course, because then we got to transition to the Titans final here in 29 days. 29 glorious days to spring training starts, folks. If you're not keeping track out there. So we got to transition to the Titans final. So there's going to be some moving pieces here that we got to kind of work in. But no, of course I won't completely step away. But I'm too much of a control freak to do that. And but it's time to give the others their taste. But yeah, don't. I'm just putting that out as a PSA that I might be kind of easing back a little bit. Flyers with the 5-3 win Saturday afternoon. Devils be back here for Clear the Ice, and then all the great programming here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network to include on Saturday afternoon before Clear the Ice here on the network. Me and Kyle Quinn will be back for the Birds Blast we will put the final bow and touches on the Packer game, and we will break down the divisional battle between the Eagles and the Rams heading into Sunday afternoon and all the other great programming. Of course, my show on Sundays through Thursdays. The final word at 8:30. I moved to 8:30. And then the wraparound with Sal G every Monday at 7. So all the great stuff we got going on here at the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Cannot wait. We're growing, we're building, we're doing all those great and wonderful things. Please give us a chance. Stick around for the ride. I guarantee you, you will not be disappointed. And before I do say good night tonight, I just want to say, it might sound ridiculous and silly, but I shed a tear today for the passing of Bob Uecker. And not because I was a big fan of Bob Uecker's, but that era, that time, and what I mean by that time, just growing up, he was part of my growing up with baseball, and it's just Harry Kalas, Richie Ashburn, Bob Uecker, players like the people like that were my inner voices are now gone. Why do they got to go? And we lost another one today. Bob Uecker dead at the age of 90. Rest in peace, Mr. Baseball. And in tribute to him, I'm going to send you out with this. So in the immortal words of another one who's gone, Gene Hart, another voice, an inner voice of my youth, in the inner and the immortal words of Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it, crap! I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
Come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy? He missed the tag! He missed the tag!